morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Answer for me is no. 3:25 in the morning, West Coast time for Wednesday, the 17th of April, 2024. We are in John C. Roseman, California. Okay, a lot of things were happening out there, and I was still hovering over a damn keyboard, waiting for a response. I still am. Still no rides. I sent a letter over to the current transit in regards to the dial-a-ride procedure. The only thing they've got listed on their dial-a-ride website regarding the situation I'm in, back to that again because this was so just irritating as hell. Did a screenshot for the thing, PDF the thing, just wanted to get information off of it. I don't see it posted on their vehicles. I never do. Kind of ticked me off a little bit about that one. But rider conduct is important. Follow the rules and regulations, otherwise emergency situation like mine comes up and then you're screwed. I'm not kidding. One second, I want to see if I can locate this paperwork of mine. Okay, found it. Found what I was looking for under a few keystrokes. So under currenttransit.org, you got the main site that connects their website saying Current Transit, we connect Kern County. How are you going to find the regulation or the rules that they have? Right under the dial-a-ride link on top of the page. Of course, you really have to read this thing. Drivers are not going to tell you about this stuff. You have to contact the dispatch office for this one. But this is how they say it. And I'm going to quote it off of here. My glasses are screwed up right now as it is. But now, this is what they have on their website. Under no-show/wait times. A no-show means the bus arrived at the pickup window and the passenger did not board the bus or had not canceled a reservation at least 30 minutes prior before the start of the pickup window. Drivers are permitted to wait only 3 minutes before calling dispatch to report a no-show. Drivers will not be permitted to return to the pickup location if a passenger is a no-show on their first pickup attempt. If you don't show up for any reason, you're screwed. I mean, any reason. If you don't happen to report the thing, that's the thing. Because there's going to be a reason I want to talk about that one there. If a passenger is a no-show for one scheduled ride, then any additional scheduled rides for that day will be automatically canceled. It is the passenger's responsibility to make the necessary changes to their reservation prior to their pickup. For example, time or address change. Please note, first, no-show is 1 day suspension. Second, is equal to 3-day suspension. Third, no-show is 7-day suspension. Fourth, no-show is a 30-day suspension. Be aware that if the problem continues, service requests from customer may be denied. I have been angry about this one for some time. Angry at probably the policy, but then again angry at myself. Here's a reason. Some things are beyond your control, but you have to control them by letting them know 30 minutes before your pickup, if you can, that they have to avoid you because something happened and you're not able to utilize them. They have a lot of people trying to contact their company. And if you get in there first come, first serve, that means you're locked in. Keep this in mind. that if a cancellation comes up on someone else's part, you may get the shot or may not. You can call them up again, but you have to keep constantly harassing these guys. You have to keep calling them up, see whether or not you got another slot open up anyway. And that's the first come, first serve. That's all they do is the first come, first serve. They got one vehicle per town. They don't have two or three. They have one vehicle per town. And that's all they can afford. That's all they can do is one vehicle per town. The Dial Ride is a cab company, basically, to have. But only one cab for an entire area. First come, first serve. They don't get to put in additional people in there. Every 2 or 3 hours, there's supposed to be a bus running to and from these communities. The further away, the longer it takes for that particular extended bus to get over to your larger community so you can go to another community. That's not the dial rate. That's the current part of the current transit system that they use. But they throw in just one dial ride. One. Not two, not three. They got cab companies all over Lancaster and Palmdale. You can get access if you're listed with the company over there, but they got countywide access over there. You think they'd have something over here in Kern? No, they don't. Sorry. Even if it was an emergency, I'm sorry, you can't do it. If it's an emergency, why don't you call 911? What happens if your pet's sick and you need the transportation but you can't get it? First come, first serve. You have to call way early in the morning when they open up the lines. Way early in the morning. That means you're up around before the crack of dawn, hours beforehand. And then you have to call them up and hope that maybe, just maybe, you got in there in time. Maybe, just maybe, the dispatcher is having a better morning. But she'll be stuck with the rules. Or he. But they'll be referring me over to the website. Not posted under vehicles, but you would have to listen to it from the dispatcher. They're stuck with the rules. They're stuck with that. And they're probably irritated as that because they'll know who the writer is and who isn't and who they can deal with and who they can't deal with. I've been dealing with these guys for several years. I've tried not to have any issues, but unfortunately this particular year I've had issues. Things coming up that I didn't cancel in time. Therefore, suspension. Even last year, they'll count it. It doesn't roll over from year to year. It's you don't do it. You're on a record here. What I did was send a letter over to Current Transit because I want to know. Besides the website that they show, that doesn't help me much. If it's an emergency situation, sometimes things happen in life. If it's human behavior, it's one thing. But if things are out of your control, things happen. But it doesn't matter. You have to contact them to let them know what's going on because they don't want to inconvenience the next customer. It's a business. And I took it personally. So now, besides the emergency I've got up right now, I can't even get these guys going. Of course, they'll be looking through the call records to see how many times I've called them. And to be honest, I think for about 2 or 3 months I hadn't because the last time I did call them and I couldn't get to the phone fast enough. I've got a phone with me all the time. I don't remember what the circumstance was. But I remember what the warning was to the caller before, and they warned me on that one. They wanted to continue service with me, but they're stuck with the rules, because that's the county for you. That's the people who are operating it, and that's what they have to go by. Even the drivers. You can be friendly with the drivers, but the problem is, it's the people behind the drivers. It's the dispatchers, and you have the supervisors, and then you've got the county supervisors. Doesn't matter. It's still a business to them. And it sucks because this is trapping people. This is trapping me, basically. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't do it like I'm doing it a lark. Things happen, and I couldn't cancel in time. And if I can't cancel in time, what if I can't? I'm trapped. I'm suspended. If it was just the first show, one day. But even one day is a problem. They only got one vehicle per territory. How many territories you're asking me about? Okay. If you go to currenttransit.org/dial-a-ride, they will show you their territory that they have. We have several of them. I'm going to list them. Tehachapi, small enough community, 10,000, maybe more than that. Trapped in a canyon area. Rosamond, we get about 10 to 12,000 crammed in an area. We got Mojave, smaller community. Lamont, I don't even know where the hell that is. It's like a speck or something like that. Let's see that one. Oh, sorry, man. Lamont's got to be Northern Territory. Yeah. Kern River Valley, Fraser Park. Fraser Park is one of those mountain communities. It's right by the 5 freeway. But it is a lot of people out in that area. But scattered. And then there's Bakersfield Medical. A larger swath in that area, shall I call it. A larger patch. And Lamont is also close enough to Bakersfield, but they don't encompass the whole damn thing. If you look at a map on Google, look at the street map and then look at the satellite map on it. I'm not comfortable using Yahoo Maps. More at ease using the Google Maps sometimes. Show you Rosamond again. Just how wide their territory is. We got it from like 60 or 90th, I think, in that territory. Let me see. I need the Oak Creek Road Shuffer. A stretch. Go as far as Douglas Avenue. I'm just trying to get to the west end of their territory that they'll allow. Where the hell was this one at? 200? Okay, so I think it's about 180 or 150, somewhere in that territory. West end of it. Nice huge block for one vehicle. One vehicle. We have communities scattered throughout the whole area. 2 or 3 would have been better for this area, but they don't have that. They won't do that. It's not on their budget. They need more drivers for that. I'll go back to Google Maps on this one. Now for Rosemont, we'll go as far as 170th. That's a smaller territory in Rosemont. That's a smaller territory that they'll run. If I looked at just the satellite area of Rosemont, I'm going to see a larger community that they can only do so much on the top portion of it. Just one vehicle. If I scrunch it down a bit, I'm still seeing a large enough community. What was it, what was the estimate again? Hold on. 1 second. Okay. Where's my population? From the census report, the 2010, and they hadn't published it, we had 18,150. Population density is about 346.8 inhabitants per square mile. 18,000. One bus, one little mini cab to cover that territory. And then they have to have their lunch break, which is understandable because that's according to state and federal guidelines. So they have to have their lunch break for about an hour. Then after that, they go back to the business again. 18,000. That territory, one little bus. Let me compare that to, let's see, Tehachapi. Tehachapi, in that stretch of area between the Antelope Valley and the Central Valley. Now, a little community they've got out there. They've got 14,414 population density since 2010 census. And that's about 1,445 residents per square mile stretched out. They still get one vehicle for that. Okay. Let me see. Mojave. I'm sorry. Mojave. Mojave population. They've got 3,950. According to what their last view is, according to one particular website. They got 72 people per square mile, and they still get one. I understand about that one. I mean, 4,200 people for a small area for one vehicle. That makes more sense. But you're talking about 18,000 in one, 12,000 in the area, and you still get one? Unbelievable. But this is what they've got. I don't know how many did they have for Kern. Actually, for Bakersfield, because Bakersfield's pretty damn large in its own right. We got 18,000 or nearly 20,000, roughly. got larger density for Bakersfield. How many did they have there? 3 or 4 maybe? Or did they still have one for that one? That ticks me off. But this is Kern. They've got more access rides out in Los Angeles County, but you still have to call to pick them up. You still have to call these guys. I'm not quite sure what their punishment thing is. But with Dial-A-Ride, you have to be committed for these things. You have to be. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere on them. And they are enforced. Which means that if I need emergency services rendered, I have to depend upon the kindness of strangers. When unfortunately the kindness of strangers says, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm too damn busy. Try somebody else." That's what pisses me off. I'm supposed to be dependent upon people at this point. I got a 2 mile, almost a 3 mile walk to a vet for a dog, but I can't get the emergency services. But I can get emergency services for a man. Say, for example, if my insurance company I had just called was going to work with an ambulance company, they'd be working with a local ambulance company to transport me over to the hospital in case I'm not allowed or able to get to a bus to get for urgent care. And they'll have to work it out with their payments schedules and stuff. But for a wrist brace problem like I had, a wrist issue here, a very bad sprain. I had a small sprain, a small wrist on this one last year, and I was gonna walk it 1.5 miles, almost 2 miles, to a bus stop because they're gonna get that early in the morning. It was hurting me too damn badly. So what they did was call an ambulance company. And I went over to the hospital. I went into the urgent care. All they did was examine the damn thing, gave me a new brace, and gave me a prescription for, or a recommendation for pills, and that's about it. It's just a sprain. That's all you need. Yeah, what I was going to do was just get on the bus with a mini brace on here, trying to hold this damn thing together was useless, but still, I was going to use it anyway to get over to urgent care of my. I got Kaiser. I got Kaiser. Kaiser was willing enough to do this. There's no insurance out there, no insurance company that deals with animal. There's none. You have to supply the transportation to get over to a vet. Assuming, of course, they're going to be open at a certain time. And others that do a nightly thing, charge an arm and a leg, and then some. Of course, if you can't afford it, they got the instant credit thing. And if you can qualify for that, cool. But if you can't, you're screwed. Oh, they also want the money. They're not going to do payments. One time in our fair talent of Roseman, we actually had a vet a decade or two back that actually cared about their animals and also understand about the low cost situation going on. If people couldn't afford it, well, they tried to work around, maybe making small payments or something like that. They still wanted to get the bill paid or forgive the bill. But eventually they went out of business. A couple of years back, they destroyed the building. There was like a several year wait between what they're going to do with it and what they didn't want to do with it. But they were losing vets left and right. They actually had another one established at the far end of town, about 3 miles directly down from Roseman Boulevard all the way to United. It's been like roughly 3 miles if I estimated it. It's a hell of a long walk. About 3 or 4 hour walk. Plus the fact I have a dog that's not going to deal with a cage. She just doesn't. So yes, I have depended upon the kindness of strangers. or have to deal with a bureaucratic system that's probably got me earmarked for no more rights. I can imagine maybe some people haven't been put into that situation, or maybe there had been people put in that situations where they depend upon friends or strangers. It seems like I'm belly aching. Well, yeah, I am belly aching. I'm encouraged to use in-home health services. Now, the problem is I don't like using in-home health services. I don't want to have somebody coming over here because now they got to deal with a damn bug war in this place over here. It wouldn't be right. Not to mention embarrassing and humiliating as hell because I'm still trying to deal with this damn thing. The bugs are here to stay. That's the problem in this compound. They're here to stay. They're in the walls. There's no way for them to get rid of this shit. In the past 3 weeks, we hadn't had uh, Orkin coming by. So I don't know who the hell they're going to use next. I had to purchase um, bug traps to keep these guys at bay. I had to get rid of the old bug traps because I thought last week that we were going to be having a visit from county, actually from state, and they'll be seeing the traps and asking me questions about it. Yes. Either way to save me face, or they just didn't want to show any apartments. But I was in no condition to deal with this. But I cleaned it up best I could. In my younger days, it would have been a hell of a lot better to keep this place together. I discovered that the older I get, the worse I get. Yeah, well, shit happens. I have to deal with that, don't I? Well, my dog is laying down sleeping. At least she's restful. She's all right for a moment. It's one thing when you're living in California, you got a car and you're able to use it. I think that's the one major requisite in this state is to use a car all the time, or your own sort of private transportation. The drawback is the maintenance, licensing, registration, and then the maintenance on the vehicle itself. Did I say maintenance? I probably did. Keeping everything in order takes up a lot. Takes a lot out of your budget than what you're dealing with. But at least you got transportation. Yeah, my lot in life. I know, it sounds like poor pity me. Well, screw it. I would have to walk almost 2 miles just to get to the grocery store if I can do it, fine, I'll do it. Just to get a few items and get back home. It'll take me about 4 hours. If I wanted to get dial-a-ride, I don't think I could. A few years back, I could. Because I kept up with the contractual agreement. When you call them up, you're basically agreeing to a contract that you can only read on the website. What if you weren't able to get the website? Or able to find it on the website? It would be encouraged to go to the website. Well, what happens if I couldn't? But you still have to go to the website. We got Twitter. Twitter's not the website. Still got to use the internet to get into it. What happens if you couldn't use the internet to get to it? Unheard of? It is. There's a lot of things we say and do that are unheard of. I'm coming across that more often. But they don't show you or examine or tell you how to do it unless you call them up. And they tell you how to go through the website. Because once you're on the website, then you can see these things. So you have to be on time. You have to do this. Otherwise, we can't take you. I don't care if it's an emergency or not. You're not scheduled. Yeah, that's what they're used to. Right now, it's 3:55. It's coming up on 4 o'clock. I've got another hour and a half before I get the opportunity to call Dial-A-Ride. I'm going to see if I can. If I can't do it today, well, I don't know. But all I know is I'm waiting for an answer from Current Transit to give me something in writing. They'll probably do a screenshot. That won't help me out because I need to know if I'm redlined or not. I need to know if I'm punished because this also affects my dog's health and it will all be affecting my health. All because I didn't keep up with the contractual. I didn't call them in time. I didn't do everything properly. And now a disabled rider gets punished. They never have the rules ready for you, do they?